Okay, you all know why you're here, so let's jump straight into our demo. This is going to be on very hard. We're going to do it in one save. We're going to be doing the Mantis quest line. You can probably tell right from the start what skill I'm going to be showcasing. A little bit of lag here, sorry about that. And here's me using the wrong skill, so let me just fix that up. I'll shoot this guy. Okay. So, I feel diplomacy, the skill in question here, gets a bit of a bad rap on the internet. People call it the weakest skill, not worth it, etc, etc. This is just going to be showcasing diplomacy at max level with the Neuroamp bought from Neon. You can get it right at the start of the game. You just fly to Neon, go to Ryujin Tower, it's up the back on the right. It costs about 10,000 bucks, which you can get from quests if you need to. So, as you can probably see, the advantage of this, it's a one-shot dealt with type scenario. You don't even need to be particularly accurate. You can just go roughly in the area and you're golden. You do miss sometimes, obviously. This is not 100%. I haven't looked at the percentages. I think it's about 85-90%. But that is perfectly strong enough. This is a New Game Plus, if anyone's curious. So I have access to all the Dragonborn powers, or whatever they're called, Unity powers. But I don't have them at any particularly high level or anything. So I'm relying on purely, as much as I can, just diplomacy. My gear is white. My skill at first-person shooters is not particularly good because it's not my game style of choice, hence me exploring down this line, I guess. Now, you might be thinking, oh, but then you're missing out on all the loot, all the potential XP even. So here's a guy, we can just freeze him solid, take our time, shoot him in the head, and that's fine. If you want to go back and kill everyone that you've diplomatized, you can. This is just a way of speeding through. If you've played the game through already, and I'm assuming here that I'm not spoiling anything for anyone. If you've played it through, then you'll know that XP doesn't really come from these guys anyway. If you want XP, either do quests or go shoot animals in the wild. So explosions is something you've got to be careful of with my little freeze blast, or just diplomacy in general. If you're going around exploding things, it will damage them. They're then immune to your diplomacy, so something to be wary of. So I sort of noobed that up there. But that's okay, we'll get back on track. This is me trying to diplomatize him again and realizing that I can't, so I have to freeze him. Freeze being my favorite of the Unity's powers, because it's area effect. It can freeze any number of guys in a single spot. It lasts for ages, allows me to walk up and just shotgun them to the head, so you need very little FPS skill. Here comes a good zone, I think. There's quite a few all in a corner, and it'll showcase why I think this skill is so good. So these guys can be quite dangerous if you are jumped by, like, that's only two there, okay, that's not the intersection I was thinking of. If you're jumped by a half dozen humanoids all at once, they can really get you in a crossfire and you're going to be in trouble. And here's a good example. Here's a whole bunch all in a corridor, and we're just turning them all off. It's even if one resists, we're going to get the bulk of them, and then in fact, it looks like we're going to get all of them, and then we're golden. We're no longer being shot at, we're going to live. You might be going, but you can always just quick save, quick load, do combat, you get more out of it, etc, etc. I started looking for a skill that would do this, because, spoiler alert by the way, I'm going to be talking about things that you might not have encountered yet. There are rare spawn universes. When you go through the Unity and you go, okay, now let's have a look around, and sometimes they change little things you might have noticed. Sometimes they change really big things and you can't save. So a good example, people might have seen it online already, where the entire lodge is full of children, all pretending to be adults. I've seen one where the entire universe has been conquered by the Crimson Fleet. These rare universes, they have unique dialogues, they have unique interactions you can do, but it doesn't seem like you can save, and this doesn't seem to be a mistake by Bethesda, because when you die, you get sent back to a normal universe, which is, it's weird, it's anyway, I decided, well, if you want to be able to explore one of those universes, then you need to be decent at combat. And the very hard, well, if I was going to hide a decent Easter egg or something and I was Bethesda, I would stick it in a rare spawn universe on very hard. So you need to be able to survive. Ship combat has been dealt with. If you're not familiar with that, enemy ships will only ever shoot at your ship's center of mass. So if you build around the outside and have your center of mass be empty and just hollow, their bullets will pass right through. That's been solved. That wasn't my solution. That was someone else's. I don't know who I should give credit to there. I'm sorry, but it's definitely not me. But when it comes to combat, you can't afford to die even once on these rare spawn universes. So personally, I think diplomacy is king. I'm moving up this combat here a little bit. I grabbed a couple of them. Let me just run back and play a little bit safe. Try and see who I've got to catch. Sorry, talking too much to actually concentrate on the game. So yeah, I should also point out that my guy has absolutely 0 points sunk into combat at the moment. He does have quite a few points put into the physical part of the tree. Obviously, quite a few put into the personality side of the tree, or whatever you call it, the sociable, the yellow part of the tree. But absolutely nothing in combat. I find that just a bit of a lost cause. Very easy to get a bit of a sunk cost fallacy happening where you've sunk so much in that now you need to sink in that little bit more. Also, you're not guaranteed at the start of the game to get a weapon which matches with what you actually want to be using. So if you're specialised in shotguns and you don't get given a shotgun, then you're a little bit out of luck till you run around farming for a while. Anyway, I figured, sorry about my slow security skills, you can just watch me bumble, but you can't get killed while doing security, so why get any good at it? So it is possible, anyway, to get this happening by level 8. You don't need to be level 100, or in my case, I think I'm around level 50. 8 points into the yellow tree, and you can take on pretty much anyone. Now, this doesn't deal with robots, obviously, and turrets, but there's always ways around that. You can, if you prefer to sneak and then activate the computers and take control of them, if you prefer to go down the far right-hand skill tree and get more damage to turrets and robots, less damage from them, if you're a high enough level, you can start taking control of robots and send them crazy, and there are solutions. Humans, I feel, are what you need to watch out for in general, and being able to take on any human in the game at level 8 is around 90% of the time is great. Some you can't, like this guy, obviously I can't diplomatize because he's plot related, so we'll just being Starborn has its advantages sometimes, because I didn't like this guy the first run through. Freeze him and very satisfyingly blow his head off. You can see how long freeze lasts, by the way. It really gives you time to just aim your shot, make sure you don't even have to waste any particular bullets. This part of the quest, by the way, I'd be curious, and if anyone knows, please do comment. So there are 2 ways through that I found. You can be really good at security and disable the turrets, or you can blow the turrets up with like a grenade launcher or the like. There doesn't seem to be a way to actually do the puzzle, which is quest related. So if you talk to people, they'll say, oh, you have to spell out something on the floor. And I had a look at the floor, and it doesn't matter which of the first line of buttons you step on, you still get shot to pieces. Does anyone know a way to do the puzzle that is set here in the Mantis lair? I would be really curious. I've looked, I gave up in the end. It seems just unfinished. They want you to just security program. This is a little aside from the showcase of the thing, but I am really curious. So if anyone knows, please do comment below. I'm sure I can't be the only one that wants to know what the hell they were thinking. Okay, anyway, sorry about the slow lockpicking again. It is not my forte. I get there in the end. You know, I haven't even looked at auto-slotting for lockpicking. That's just part of the game I haven't played with yet. Maybe I'll check it out in the future. I won't do it now. Anyway, back to talking about leveling. So to get to diplomacy, you have to go through the first line, the first skill set that's above it, and there are no good choices there. I tried gastronomy, of all things, and it is a complete waste of time. In fact, I might just take this moment to mention that most of the crafting things in this game are a complete waste of time. There's no reason I can see to bother with outposts. There is no reason to bother with gastronomy because you can buy better food than you can make. There is very little reason to go down chemistry because the amount of effort required to make something which lasts 10 seconds or so just seems ludicrous, and it's just, in my mind, not worth it. Spacesuit mods, I mean, they can give you a very small amount of extra defense or carry capacity or something, but realistically it's not worth it. Spaceship mods are worth it. That's in a different tree. And weapon mods. Weapon mods I do find fun to play with. You can take a good gun that you find and make it amazing, which is quite satisfying, but that's the only one that I would go into. So if you're going down any of the research lines, don't make my mistake. I sunk, I don't even know how many levels, must be 30 levels by now, making sure that I could build everything in the game. Robot here, not going to allow me to loot. Glitchy game, it happens. So I sunk maybe 30 levels making sure I could research everything, and the only thing I found that I ever actually use a bench for is weapon mods. My personal opinion, feel free to disagree and let me know why. As you can see, robots, I'm not particularly scared of these guys. I am over-leveled for it. Not that actually makes too much of a difference, because you don't get base hit points or anything. But the single freeze spell allows you to take on one enemy at a time, and robots are normally one at a time. You get levels. The 3-star collective level where you have to deal with a whole bunch of turrets and a whole lot of robots which have the height advantage on you. Obviously, diplomacy is not the way there, but you can learn to avoid those sort of quests if you are doing a full playthrough until you're geared up, ready, have the whatever it is you plan on using to disable them. I'm realizing here actually after the turrets there are actually no more humanoids to deal with. I'll just run through and get the armor, and then I will show you my levels just to show that I haven't been cheesing it with a bazillion levels in shotgun or something. I certainly haven't, or amazing gear, and then we'll call it done. I realise this game's only been out for a month now, so it's perfectly possible that given more time people will find skills which are even more rorty than this. But in my opinion, considering you can start the game, earn $10,000, fly to Neon, buy your Neuro Amp, and have a 9 in 10 chance roughly of dealing with any enemy, that's the best survival skill that there is. This is absolutely rubbish legendary, by the way. Don't get caught out by the little bit of a glitchy screen there. Just have to wait for them to pass. Don't be caught out by going, "Oh, legendary, it must be better than my white." Quite often, whites are just better anyway. The legendaries, unless they've got a skill which is absolutely amazing, which very few do, or a combination of skills which are really amazing, very few do, then I just wear the whites, which are better in my mind. And I'll show you what I'm wearing in a second. Sorry, it can't hurt to open a chest. It is always nice to find a decent legendary weapon at the start of the game if you can. It's and chests at the back of missions like Mantis have a good chance of that. Okay, nearly there. Apologies again for my particularly slow lockpicking abilities. I skipped most of the chests just because I didn't want to bore everyone. Okay, nothing to show off there, nothing to show off. Don't think I'm going to be jumped by any particular baddies or anything here, so let me open up my skill tree. Okay, so 58 with a skill point to burn. As you can see, nothing in the combat tree at all. Only enough points to get down diplomacy. Isolation is very good, by the way, and complements this well, because you don't want allies with this skill set, because they're just going to go shooting people, aggravating them, and suddenly you can't diplomatize them anymore. As you can see, I've gone right down the science tree. A couple of points left to get in zoology and biology for it, but nothing special. And here you can see Absolutely nothing special. The main thing is the Neuroamp level 3. 15% diplomacy chance. Apart from that, I was wearing complete white start of the game stuff. And that's it. Let me know if you think you've got something better. Otherwise, maybe I'll see you around the galaxy. See ya.